Hey guys, I'm back to show you how to make this really cool painted cuff with inka-gold, which is really a lot like Gilder's Paste, only I think it's better because it's not stinky, it's water cleanup, and you can bring it back with water too. If it gets a little dry, just put a couple drops of water, not stinky, mineral spirits, and it comes right back up great, and you can use it. So there's less waste with it also. So I'm going to show you how to do that today, and we're going to make this cool cuff with this cool flower on it, and we're going to put it together, and yeehaw, that's what it's going to look like. So come on over here so I can show you how. And before, if you don't mind giving me a like, oh, I would be so pleased if you could give me a like, okay? And that's all I'll say about that. Now let's get into it. Okay guys, so this is the cuff, This is the indent cuff from Bisou Boutiques, which I love. It's my favorite cuff, and the reason is because it has this indented space, and it makes it so easy to decorate. It really, truly does. And the number is under Javi's iPad, so she's going to lift it. The number is cuff, CUFF 01326. Yeah, so you use that. That's the cuff. We have goobers of them. So you won't have to worry about coming over to our place and like, she's out, because we have them. Okay, so I start out with this cuff, my favorite of all the cuffs, and I have used many cuffs in my time. Anyway, it fits nice too. It's a nice fit on this one. And you can always make it bigger, just, pull it out. But anyway, so that's the cuff, and then we're going to use also this pie crust bezel. That's what I call it. It's got a little bit of paint in the middle of it. You don't worry about that because you're going to put something over it. I make that to balance it. Now, you could just take and put resin or whatever you want to, a little vignette in here. You could put resin in and make flowers coming out, manipulate them, have a little bouquet going on it, which is a great look too. I've done that any number of times. But this time, I'm going to use this finding. And it is FIG 02652. We have lots of them. All the stuff is raw brass, except for the pie crust is not raw brass. I have some on order that are raw brass, but honestly, you can paint over the brass ox and also the matte block just fine. Silverware doesn't work so hot. Plus, it's kind of expensive, so why would you do that? To me, that's my opinion. And the satin gold is a little bit more expensive too. You can paint over it, but you might not want to. But the matte black and the brass ox look great. So what I'm going to do, to assemble this, I'm going to show you how I paint it first, but to assemble it, this will go here in the middle. I'll glue it on with E6000, and then this will go in the middle of that, glue it on with E6000. And I will have to manipulate the petals to make it look right. But I haven't pulled up because I was painting them. Okay. But I will have to manipulate them and make it look right. And you know what? I'm going to put this together later today, and I will have some pictures to show you how I did it. So, not a problem. But anyway, you can see I do both sides because, if someone would see underside, they're going to see color instead of just raw brass, and it looked like, it's not finished that way, And I don't think this is finished yet either. I think this needs, a little bit of help yet. And then, of course, I'm going to need to seal it. And I think I want this really nice and glossy, so I think when I get it done and it's all sealed, I think I might use UV resin. I might take one of these from the Susan Leonard Casimir Ice Enamels brushes set, which is so inexpensive. We have lots of them at the site. I might take it and just lightly paint over there. Very lightly, because I don't want it to drip down in here. And just get a resin top on it. So it's not quite ready for that yet because it needs a little bit more work. But let me show you how I did it. I used the Marsala Pink, inka-gold. Now, being honest, guys, you could use any kind of paint. You could use acrylic. That works too. Some paint pens, I don't know, maybe they'd work. You could try it. Lumiere paints also are a mica paint. They work very nicely. In fact, I think they would work fantastic in tandem with inka-gold. We'll do a video on that soon. But you know, so I'm just saying you don't have to use this, but I wish you would try it. Just get 3 complementary colors and go to town and see what you think. You're going to love it and last a long time. So this is the Marsala, this is the turquoise, and this is the gold. And that's what I chose for my cuff, okay? And then if you might remember from the previous video, when you open this stuff, first you want to leave the inner seal on. You want to leave that on because it will just help it keep it stuff from getting in it, you know. And then you just open it up just briefly and you'll take just a little bit out. You don't need much, just a little bit, take it out. Or one of those little spoons, or maybe a tiny, you know what else would work really good is a popsicle stick. Just take it out like a spatula, but do not put it back in. When you're done with these, just to protect yourself from not doing it again. Oops, I have a basket and throw them out. So, okay, now, what I have to do too is, like I told you before, stressed before, do not put water in there. Keep it tightly sealed. Keep that sealer on it. It just helps a little bit. And then be sure you have the cap down on it square so you can screw it tightly together. Because you don't have to worry about so much with inka-gold if it dries out a little bit. No big problem, because you bring it right back. You know, Gilder's paste. This stuff reminds me a little bit of Gilder's paste. The consistency is similar to Gilder's paste. But with Gilder's paste, when it dries out, it can be a pain to bring it back, and you have to use, you know, mineral spirits or something like that that's stinky. Gilder's paste is stinky too. This is not stinky. It doesn't say that it's non-toxic, but I would say it's probably low toxicity. You don't eat it. That's for sure. It's not. It's not. You want to go ice a cake with it, you know. But it's water soluble, meaning, you know, you can thin it with water, you can reconstitute it with water, and the cleanup is simple. I like to glove up because it kind of will cake on your fingers, and that's kind of a yicky feeling. I don't like it. So that's how that goes with that. And you'll see it's kind of flaking off a little bit here. Don't worry about that, because all of your pieces, you need to seal them. And once you seal them, you ain't got to worry about that anymore. It's over. Done. Don't worry about it. So anyway, let's paint a cuff. Let's see. I brought this one down here. I think I degreased it. You know what? Let's just finish this one, because I'm not sure I degreased this. And if I didn't, then we're not going to have a very good experience. So anyway, let's just talk about it. Okay. The first coat on this one was turquoise. You might say, really? Because I don't see it. But it was. It was turquoise. And then it didn't cover as good as I wanted, because this is all a slick surface, so you'll have that. So then I added Marsala with a sponge, and then I added just little dots of gold. And I'm liking this. I'm happy with this. I will seal it like that. I've done lots of cuffs with this look before, and they've always been good for me. I've always liked them really a lot. So this side, I just have a little bit of the turquoise down, a little bit of Marsala over top. So to continue with it, now here's the thing. When you're doing two sides like this, with a product like this, you may have to work at it a little bit to get both sides to match good, but that's why this spattering type effect is good, because then it'll bring it all together for you. But I'm going to put a little bit more turquoise over this. And again, I'm using my foam brush. And I have thinned this a little bit, so the coverage is pretty good. The more you put down, the better the coverage is. So I'm going to put, don't worry about that. The reason I have this into this section is because when you put this in, I don't want bare brass showing. That's why I did that. Just keep it out of where you're going to glue it. But if you do get it there, all you have to do is take steel wool, rough up the back of this, rough up this, and then it'll adhere good. Other than that, though, if you don't do that, you will be gluing to paint instead of to brass. Did you know that? You'll just be gluing to the paint. And, you know, the paint's just a thin coating. Oh, look at what I just wrecked on. That's okay. I'll fix it. I'll show you how to fix it. Mix and match more. Okay. So, yeah. So you don't want to glue to paint. So if you have two painted surfaces, you need to rough up the back so that you're not going to paint because it's just a thin surface and you're not going to get what you like. You're not going to be happy in the long run. And I want you to be happy. I have spoken. I want you to be happy. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can reconstitute this. Instead of going and getting more of this, I've got a good bit of it here. So I'll take some. Oh, this one's not good. I need to get a new brush, or I'll have funky, funky color. Funky, funky color. That don't. Yeah, there's a little bit of aqua in the water. I know. That's probably something you don't want to do. Like I say, do as I say, not as I do. That's terrible, isn't it? Don't you hate that when your parents don't do that?
Yeah.
I tried so hard not to say that to Jordan, but I probably did. But it just shows you that parents aren't perfect.
And nobody is.
Nobody's perfect. Okay, so I got a lot of bubbles in that. Why is that? Because I used a foam sprayer. But I can get rid of them, and they will just become texture. So I'm just taking the brush, and I'm just kind of tapping it out. No biggie. And yeah, you can see it's coming off the brush and other things. Don't worry about that. That will, we'll do. This is going to have to be repainted anyway. So don't even give it a second thought. It's not to worry on that because you're going to be sealing this. This stuff dries fast too. I'm going to tell you what. It does.
It does.
It dries really fast, especially after you've thinned it. So, the texture here isn't a bad thing. Now, I've got a little bit of gold here. I don't know if I have enough to really reconstitute or not, but I'm going to try it. And I'm going to get some fresh water. So I'm just going to do a drop. Watch it go all over. Okay, that's good. That's fine. That's more than I wanted, but it's okay. It's going to work for this. Now I'm going to get it in there. Now I just polluted it with some aqua. Okay. Now, but you can see I've got it flowing. This is okay. I'll just get to go back here. And I'll tip the plate. Okay, so now I've got it in here, and this is coming right back up nicely for me. See? So you don't have to waste. I don't know that I would keep this plate with paint on it for like days at a time and just go back and keep reconstituting it. I mean, you could probably do it, but I don't know how to do that. But for a day, I don't want to waste this if I don't have to. Let me just see if I can get that to go over here, and then I'll get it away from...
Hey, it turned purple.
Yeah, it did. Blending of color. Look at that. The color purple cries out wanting to be loved. I always say that. That's a quote from a movie, Always kind of stuck with me. Okay, so I did this already, but I think I need some more spatters of gold because I kind of painted them over. If you go back through my videos, you will see other times when I've done this, not with inka-gold, but other products. I've done this with alcohol inks too, but it has a whole different look. Alcohol inks don't look like this. Alcohol inks are more sheer. It just goes with what you like. I like something thicker. I like a thicker medium, so that's why inka-gold is for me. I really want to try it though with Lumiere. I want to say Lumiere, it's not. It's Lumiere. I keep getting corrected on that too. But see how shimmery that is now that I added that? And you guys that are good with color and paint, you're going to do it just that much better. I like to paint. I like color. And I've used it in my work many times and sold many pieces, but I'm not the expert some people are. I just get it to where it looks good for me because I'm the artist, and that's okay. Because this is mixed media, baby, and you do what you want. So long as it stays together and it looks good at the end and it's nice and neat and the finish work is there, it's up to you what you do. Where you find out is if it works really great is if you want to sell it and see how fast it sells. It doesn't sell too fast. There are several reasons why it's not selling too fast. And that could be you put too much money on it, the price is wrong, you made it too high, or you made it in the wrong color and nobody wants that color this year. Or maybe they just don't like it right now. Maybe you need to take it and put it away for a while.
Or you don't need to sell it at all.
And maybe you just keep and say,
yeah,
what?
It's fun.
I think this one was supposed to be mine. I've done that.
Oh, I do that a lot.
It doesn't sell. I put it up for after a while and nobody's really, paying much attention to it. I'm like, I think this is supposed to be mine.
There's a lot of us who just do it for fun, Brenda.
There are. But I always keep that in mind, about pricing because a lot of us do sell our work too. Doing it for fun is great. I envy you if you can have a nice workshop and just do it for the joy of it. Oh, baby, you've got it made. You've got it made. But people like me have to think about selling it because this is what I do for a living.
Yeah, I would like to sell mine and then get the money for making more stuff.
That's entirely true, and that's why we're teaching responsible repurposing. You might have heard my class before, responsible repurposing. I'm going to teach that in January again, and that's about learning about vintage jewelry enough to be able to figure out what you got and if it's valuable, to put a realistic price, not high, realistic price on it, and put it on maybe Ruby Lane or Etsy and sell it. And then when you do, voila, you get the money for what you really like, what you really want. Or you become an antiques dealer, which is fine too. That's how I started out. I was an antiques dealer. And I still sell some here and there. Nothing gives me the heebies like walking into a room full of old jewelry, let me tell you what. Ooh, baby, I love it. Okay, so I think I have this matched up pretty decent. Might be needing a little bit more gold here, maybe just smear it. I might go back over this again, even, because I can bring my paints back up. But anyway, that's what I like for a finish. If you like something else, fine. You could combine other media with it too, like maybe a little tissue decoupage. Lots of things like that you could do. But anyway, I love that. Now, I will paint the inside of this band too, and that will be a little bit difficult because this is slick, and I'm going to have to do several coats, or I'm going to have to figure out something artistic. But one thing I won't do is spray paint it like I did to begin with. If you're going to spray paint it, you need to do that before you put anything else on it. Because see what happens. You mess it up. I don't think I can wash this off. So, I will have to do the inside. But it will look good when I'm done. Maybe I'll put, they call it moleskin or ultra suede inside. That'd be a nice finish to it. I've done that before too. So this is pretty. This is pretty. Gold, Marcella, and turquoise. So my pie crust is right here. Excuse me, it's already painted. And here's my flower on top of it. Now, I'll talk to you a little bit about this flower. Let me get a raw one so you can see. They are made in, see, there's 4 layers. You see that? This layer, this layer, this layer, and this layer. Yeah, that's just manipulated. Okay, in the middle, see that? You know what that is? Come on, you guys know what that is. That's a tube rivet. My favorite rivet in the world. About the only rivet I ever use. Because it has a pass-through in case I want to bead through it. That's why I like it. Easy to set. But it's got a tube rivet. And that's the way they've been made for all these years. Back in the day till now. This tooling originated back in the 1950s. And it was extremely popular in the 60s. Remember hearing of or seeing flower power pens? Back in the middle 60s to late 60s, they were extremely popular. Every kid bought their mother flower power pens. I did. I bought them for my mother all the time in the department stores for not very much money. But now they're collectible. And you can make your own from the very same findings that made the original ones. And you can paint them your colors and do your own thing with them. So that's very cool. This is Fig 02652. If you want to try it. They're big. I would say that's maybe 2.5 inches across maybe. But anyway, because it's riveted together, it means that when you go to paint it, you can manipulate the pieces up so you can get in there to paint them. And these little brushes, boy, I'll tell you what, they come in handy because they can get back in here. I'm going to show you. Now I kind of got my colors mixed up, but it'll be okay. So I can get with this way back in here. Because you want to do that. I painted the back too. You want to get it all covered. Get way back in there, especially back in here, because if you don't, it won't look like it's finished very nicely. And that'll be one of those pieces that sits around, probably doesn't sell, if you want to sell it. Or it could be you'll wear it and people will notice you didn't finish it nicely and they won't compliment you. Or they'll just say, well, that's different. You know, when somebody says to you, oh, that's different, you don't always know what to think, you know. Maybe that's the way they compliment, and maybe that's just they're trying to find something nice to say. Could be, I don't know. Anyway, this takes a little bit of work because, you know, you get these little good gribblies in there. It's partly from the mica in the paint, and it's partly from the fact that I used a sponge brush to begin with, and it introduced air. So, like I say, if any of you guys have ideas about a better type brush to use, I would love to hear it, because I hate buying the wrong thing. And just, you know, I mean, I buy these anyway. I love them. I recommend them to everybody. I buy the foam brushes all the time, buy big sacks full. But anyway, but yeah, you have to check in here, make sure nothing got built up in here, you know, and just keep working it till it's nice and coated. And I would say with this one, you want to be sure you get a lot of metallic on here, but still let some color show. A lot of metallic. And then when you're done, so that it fits down in here nicely, you're going to start bending them down. And you have to be careful when you do that, that you don't, you know, nick the color. But you could do a little high and low with it, a little bit. You can turn it and twist it so that it'll fit, you know, down in there. And now, when you go to glue it in here, I'm going to show you something. You're not going to get it to meet the metal. So you're going to say, how am I supposed to glue that? Fill it up completely with, you know, glue or something? No. What you're going to want to do is glue something inside of here, like maybe a couple of buttons or something that don't show, so it will build it up a little bit, and then you'll glue to that, and it'll be fine. It'll seat down in there, no one will ever see them. And then you will have made a shim for your piece, and it will work well. You will be happy with it. You'll be happy. Okay, so that's how I'm going to make this cuff. You think you maybe can try it? I bet you can do it. I bet you can do it better than me. But that's all the tricks of it. That's how the inka-gold paint works. That's how these brushes work. This is how you can reconstitute it. I've got enough there. I can go up here. I can take this back up in my office shop, where I have a place where I work too, and I can go ahead and finish colorizing this with it. It's great. It has a lot of the same properties as Gilder's paste. You know, Gilder's paste can have that little bit of a graininess to it too. But without the stink, without the noxious fumes, without the drying out so miserably, chopping up, and have to reconstitute it with some kind of oil, you know. So it's kind of nice, and you get about as much as Gilder's paste. Gilder's paste is about that same size. And it'll last you a long, long time. The same way, maybe longer, because you can bring it back with water. How about that? I've got it upside down here. inka-gold. So anyway, if you think you'd like to try it, I would recommend, I mean, you can, of course, buy them all if you want, but I would recommend pick out 3 that complement each other and get those. And then the parts again, Figo 2652 for the flower. The pie crust bezel is BEZ06470. BEZ06470. And the cuff is cuff CUFF 01326. Those are your 3 parts and brass that you need. And you just need some paint, and away you go. So thank you so much for stopping back to see how this cuff goes. Join us at the Bisou Boutiques Creative Group at Facebook, why don't you? And come on over and show me what you did with your inka-gold. I would love to see. They would all love to see. It's a great place. There's so much creativity. It's bouncing off the walls. So come over and see us. Bisou Boutiques Creative Group at Facebook. You'll see a link for it down in the links underneath in the description. It's right there for you. So you can come. You do have to belong to Facebook to be able to get into it. So if you're not a Facebook fan, well, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, some have joined Facebook just so they can come to the group, and they haven't regretted it either. It's a great place. No drama, no fussing, kindness, support, all that wonderful stuff. No hatefulness, no problems. So come on over and join us. And in the meantime, I'll be back very soon with another video. I'm not sure quite what it'll be yet, but it'll have to do with painting. And in the meantime, too, if you can leave me a comment or a like, you'll be my friend.
And don't forget to subscribe.
And don't forget to subscribe either, because we're going to have a lot of good things coming down the pike that you will not want to miss. You know? So, subscribe to if you don't mind. Alrighty, enough of that. You guys have a great day and enjoy yourselves. Whatever it is that you're making today or this weekend or further down the road in your life, whatever kind of art it is, enjoy it. Have joy. It's about the joy. If you can sell it, that's great. You know what? If you can't sell it, give it away. You'll make somebody else have joy too. Have a great day. Bye-bye.